So today we are going to discuss about the mind map of light chapter. In chapter number 16 light we have already discussed about the different terms, right? So firstly I am starting with the starting of the chapter that light. Light is what? We have done that light is a form of energy which produces in us the sensation of vision, right? That we have done. Okay. And we know that speed of light, speed is equal to 3 into 10 raised to power 8 meter per second. That is the speed of the light, right? Okay, light travels with that speed. Fine. Then we discussed one very important term here. That is reflection. Reflection was what? That is bouncing back of light. Bouncing back. That when the light will strike the reflecting surface से strike करने के बाद वो वापस आती है उसी एंगल से, राइट? तो किस एंगल से जाती है, कितने एंगल से जाती है, किस तरफ टर्न करती है, for that we have discussed another part of that is you can say laws of reflection, right? In laws of reflection we have studied two laws. One says that angle of incidence is equal to angle of reflection. That means the angle at which the ray of light will strike the surface, it will reflect back at the same angle. Okay, so how it will reflect back? So these two laws we can describe as like this. One we can say angle of incidence is equal to angle of reflection, where I stands for incidence and R stands for reflection. Okay. Then another law says that incident ray reflected ray and normal lie in same plane. जो ये तीनों rays होंगी they will lie in the same plane, right? Incident ray, reflected and normal all lie in same. Okay. Then we studied about the plane mirror. If you remember, plane mirror is the surface which reflects the light smoothly. When we stand in front of the mirror, then it reflects back the light, right? And we studied about types of reflection. There are two types of reflection. One is regular, right, or smooth. We can say it is smooth, and this is irregular or diffused. Regular and irregular. Now in regular reflection, with the help of diagram we can draw smooth surface, number of rays coming parallel after striking, they will be parallel to each other. But in case of this, the surface is irregular, rays are coming parallel, right? After striking they will move like this. They will not remain parallel. In regular reflection, we see about smooth surface, and in irregular reflection, we see that the surface is rough. Okay, surface is rough. Fine. So reflection and its types and laws of reflection we have done. Fine. Now I was talking about the plane mirror. If you remember, dear children, plane mirror forms the image, right? Forms the image when we stand in front of the mirror. We can see when we stand in front of the mirror. Now the plane mirror, the characteristics of that image which is formed by plane mirror, we can also write. That is plane mirror. Okay. In plane mirror, we can discuss further image and uses. So in image we know that same size, right? Same distance, right? And then we can say virtual and direct, and one very important, that is laterally inverted. The image will be laterally inverted, means the upside down, right? Upside down is the meaning of laterally inverted. When we stand in front of the mirror, our right hand will be appearing on the left side and left hand will be appearing on the right side. Okay. Now, if we talk about uses, it's used in the mirrors, right? And as a reflecting surface, in shoulder, right? So there are a number of uses for plane mirror. In our home we are using the mirrors, so that is plane mirror. Okay. Now this is about the plane mirror. Now we have discussed that what about that plane mirror, how that image will be formed. When I am standing in front of the mirror, I have a mirror in my hand and I am standing in front of it. So it will form an image, that we all know, right? But whether the images can be increased, yes, it can be increased. How? कैसे कर सकते हैं? When we will use one more mirror, in spite of one mirror I am using here, and I will keep the another mirror at a particular angle. When there is a relation between the mirror angles, and किसी particular angle पे रखेंगे. चलिए वो भी डिस्कस करते हैं, very important. So रिफ्लेक्शन की एक टाइप है जिसको हम कह सकते हैं मल्टीपल रिफ्लेक्शन. That is called multiple reflection. Multiple reflection means when the ray of light incident on a surface, right, and it allows to reflect back again, right? So what is multiple reflection? Multiple reflection is the reflection of the reflected ray of light again. That is known as multiple reflection. Now there will not be one image, there will be more images. How? There is a formula which we have already done. This is the formula to calculate n is the number of images, that is 360 upon theta minus 1. We can find out the number of images with this. Theta is the angle between the mirror, right? If the theta is angle, that is 60 degree, so 360 by 60, 6 minus 1, 5. That means if two mirrors are placed at 60 degree angle, then the number of images will be 5. Similarly, if the mirrors are placed at an angle of 90 degrees, same way we can get the 3 images. You might have observed when you are going to saloon, there are two mirrors which are placed parallel to each other. When the mirrors are placed parallel to each other, then there are a number of images. You can see so many images, uncountable. You can't count the right hand images and the left hand images. So how does this happen? When they are kept parallel to each other, that means the angle is 0 degree. So angle 0 means infinite, right? So this is very important, that when the two mirrors are kept parallel to each other, then there will be uncountable or infinite images formed, right? So this is about multiple reflection. Then we studied about a very important and very delicate organ of our body, that is known as eyes. So dear kids, if I ask that how we can visualize the world, what is the important thing needs to be visualized, all the things available around us? That is eyes. Because if eyes are there, then only the reflection will work. If the eyes are not there, then no reflection. Okay, right. Now if I talk about eyes, you might have observed if you are standing in a dark room and when the light is switched on, then immediately you can visualize the things which are placed in the room, on the walls, paintings and all that. Why? That is due to reflection. Because rays of light are coming from the tube light or something else, whatever the light object is there, it will fall on the object, then come back to your eyes. That is reflection. Due to reflection, we can watch. Okay. Now, apart from reflection, there are many phenomena related to light which you will study in the higher classes. One is refraction, that you will do in class 10, right? Dispersion, we will do in the same class only. Then, in class 12, that is diffraction, interference, polarization. There are a number of phenomena which are related to light, and there will be a unit that is known as optics. So optics के अंदर सारे 6-7 चैप्टर आएंगे आपको light in physics. Okay. Now our next is phenomena related to light, that is dispersion of light. Dispersion of light is very clear to all when the white light is allowed to pass through. When the white light is allowed to pass through the prism, that is, then what happens? The images or the colors will be formed, that is known as dispersion of light, or splitting of white light into different colors, that is known as dispersion. And the spectrum is formed, that spectrum is known as Video.Guru, violet, indigo, blue, green, yellow, orange, red, right? That is Video.Guru, is the spectrum which forms by the different colors. Fine. Now, last but not the least, that is the most delicate and the important organ, that is eye. In eye we have discussed about the structure. If you remember, structure. Right? In structure we have studied different parts. One is cornea. Cornea is the front out bulging part, that is cornea. Then iris. Then pupil. Then ciliary muscles. Okay, ciliary muscles, then retina, aqueous humor, okay, then vitreous humor, then we have blind spot. So these are the different parts of human eye: cornea, iris, pupil. We know that we are able to visualize the world. We can visualize the things which are nearer to us, and immediately we can visualize the things which are very far away from us. Right? Why? Due to iris and pupil. Okay? Because the focal length of the eyelids is adjusted by the ciliary muscles to visualize closer things and the far away objects. So that is a very wonderful phenomena. We did not notice, and we never noticed this. Okay, I am looking at the board. Immediately the tree is, I think, 2 kilometers away from me, and I am able to look at this. So how does this work? Right? That is the accommodation. That is the ability to change the focal length. That is accommodation, power of accommodation. So that is all done by these components. That is iris and pupil. Then ciliary muscles will hold the eyelids in its position. Retina, the image will be formed on retina. Aqueous humor and vitreous humor are the two liquids which are present in the eyes. Blind spot, where the optic nerve leaves the eye, right? Where the optic nerve, and for the blind spot, this optic nerve will carry the message to the brain in the form of electric signal, which will identify the faces and recognize the faces. Okay, fine. We have also very important cells. One is rod and cone, so they are sensitive to bright light and colors also, with the help of which we can identify the colors, with the help of which we can visualize the things in the evening. Okay, It's not like that we need the complete light. If the light is less, we will be able to see. Okay. One very important, another phenomenon that we have discussed, that is used in the cinematography, that is known as persistence of vision. Persistence of vision means what? Okay, whenever we are looking the object, the image of the object remains in our eyes for 1/16 second. 1/16 second. Now, if you will just show the images more than 16 in 1 second to a human being, then these pictures will be looking in the moving picture. That phenomena is used in the cinematography, with the help of which we are able to see the pictures in the form of motion. The pictures in the form of motion, the pictures are moving. Actually, there is no horse present in that reel. Actually, these are the pictures. They are showing these pictures more than 16 in 1 second, and it appears like moving picture. This phenomenon is used in the cinematography. Okay. Now, we know that if eye is delicate organ, that means it may be having some diseases. That diseases are known as defects. That are known as defects of vision. In defects of vision, we further discuss 3 types. One is myopia, right? Or we call it hypermetropia. Hypermetropia, right? Then the second is not myopia and nearsightedness. Myopia and nearsightedness. Okay, and here we have hypermetropia. Hypermetropia or farsightedness, and third is cataract. Right? Hypermetropia को हम farsightedness भी बोलते हैं. Farsightedness. Farsightedness, right? So, in myopia, when the person is affected from myopia, then the person will not be able to see the nearby objects, but he will be able to see the far objects. And in hypermetropia, that is, can be able to see the far objects, but will not be able to see the nearby objects. And in cataract, it occurs in the people which are in the old age, when the eyelids becomes foggy. Okay, so the image will not be clear when the eyelids will become foggy. So then cataract occurs. Okay. Now we know that the persons are blind, some are visually challenged. Okay, but what? How they will study? Does it mean that if the person is visually challenged, he or she will not be able to read the things? There was a person that is brilliant one, that is Braille. Okay, so if the person is affected, then Braille has given a system, okay, that is 26 dot pattern system. So they just move their fingers over that sheet and they can recognize that which alphabet is there. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, whatever. Okay, so that's helping them to understand the words, the alphabets, that what is written. Very interesting and very mind-blowing thing he is given. Okay, so if they are not having the sense of vision, they have a sense of touch. They are using that touch. They are using that sense to study the things. So dear children, this is all for this chapter light, which we have studied right till now. That is light. Speed of light is this. Then reflection we studied. Types of reflection. Types of reflection we studied about plane mirror, nature, and the characteristics of the image formed by the plane mirror, and then the uses. Okay. Then the very important and delicate organ, that is human eye. The structure of human eye, defects of vision, that if the eye will not be taken care properly, we may suffer from the diseases. And you might have observed the person wearing the specs. So they are wearing specs because they are suffering from any defect of vision. So that is all from my side. I hope this video is going to help you out to revise the chapter thoroughly. Thank you so much.